It's time to finally talk about Mistweaver Monk's new insane talent, Peer into Peace. My name's Elvin Ninja 7, your resident Mistweaver Monk. Let's get into the guide. Now, I wanted to give a lot of time for testing before I finally made this guide. However, this is going to be a very loose guide, meaning that I know only a select few of us are still raiding. So I'm going to kind of hold off until Season 4 to make a full-blown, in-depth guide. But for this guide, we're just going to, get the cut and dry so you guys can take this build and start raiding with it tonight if you need to. So starting with stat weights, obviously, you always want to push intellect and main stat and item level as much as possible. And then after intellect, I would actually look at your trinkets. And what I mean by that is I would try your hardest to get a seedling no matter what the item level is. Seedling is absolutely very powerful, especially with this build. It plays very well with this build. And then after that, I would look at secondary stats. Now, our first secondary stat that we're going to talk about is crit. Now, I have a little bit too much crit. If not, I would probably keep it around this number. You ideally want to get as close to 30%. That way you're not getting any diminishing returns. However, it's not the worst thing in the world because of how much healing this converts into. So around 30 to a little bit higher percent, that's your first breakpoint you want to meet. And then after that, we're going to look at haste and verse. Now, my haste is probably a little bit too high. If I had, if I had the means to do so, I'd probably convert a couple of these haste points into versatility. I liked this haste when I was still running the old build before Peer into Peace, but you guys will see why a little bit too much haste can be a very bad thing, because this is a very mana intensive build, even more so than in the past. But honestly, this does get the job done. It can heal for a lot with this much haste. It's just not required. So yeah, but versatility, I would ideally have this around 25%. But anywhere from 20 to 25% is fine. And all of this comes at the sacrifice of mastery, since you do not need mastery in this build or any rating build whatsoever right now. You just take all the points that you can from your mastery and disperse them into these other three stats. Ideally around 30, 25, 25% is roughly where you'd like to sit. But as always, sim your character to know the exact amounts that you would perform the best at. And then the last thing that I'm going to talk about gearing wise is your second trinket. I have found the best results with a mana reduction trinket. So Amalgam 7th Spine, as long as you're gaming it a little, trying to, spread your Vivifies when you're not trapped in a Soothing Mist across multiple people, you'll get enough of these buffs to make it worth it. However, if you're not seeing a good return on a trinket like this one, or the one that cuts down your mana cost, then just go with a traditional trinket like, a stat stick like Pips or something. You should be fine. Now let's get into the sauce of this build, and that is the talents, the actual build itself. I'm not going to talk about anything on the monk tree, because depending on what fight you're doing or how you prefer to have this tree, like if you don't want more defensives or if you want Yu'lon's Grace, I personally prefer Yu'lon's Grace because it looks good on the healing meters, let's be real, and it's one less button. But yeah, we do come down here to Summon Jade Serpent Statue, and I take both points, all three of these points that my face is blocking right now. But where the heat is on this Mistweaver tree. So the new talent, Peer into Peace. It's very unique, very special, very powerful. How it reads is 5% of your overhealing done onto targets with your Soothing Mist is spread to 3 nearby injured allies. It's going to take some of that overhealing, shave it off the top, and disperse it to people that do actually need the healing. So this was kind of designed to limit the overhealing and kind of limit how sucky it felt to do this huge ramp and then pump into a full health target. So on paper already, this is a cool talent, pretty unique and a nice quality of life little added bonus. But where the sauce comes in is the next line. So Soothing Mist now follows the target of your Enveloping Mist or Vivify, and its channel time is increased by 4 seconds. So baseline, your Soothing Mist now will last 4 more seconds. But the sexy, the spicy, the juicy part of that is that your Soothing Mist now follows your Vivify target. So before I had this talent equipped, if I were to be Soothing Misting myself, for example, and then I just pick this random guy and I cast Vivify on him, it would cancel this Soothing Mist and I would just cast a Vivify on him, because Soothing Mist kind of tethered you to one person. You chose that person, you're stuck with them, right? But the way that this talent works is now, if I Soothing Mist myself, I vivify Shawan, and then I vivify this thing, and then I vivify this thing. Whoever I cast a Vivify or Enveloping Mist on, that Soothing Mist will follow them. Now, already that's really cool, but you're going to see in some of the clips coming up why exactly this is absolutely, I'm not going to say the B word, but it's very powerful, very explosive. It leads our Yulon ramps to be even more explosive. That's Peer into Peace. It's the new toy that we have, and it completely defines this playstyle. Now, where are we getting this point? What are we taking this point from and putting it into Peer of Peace? Well, you'll see Focus Thunder kind of loses a lot of its pizzazz, because before we had Peer into Peace, if we had Focus Thunder let us use Thunder Focus Tea and empower 2 spells. And that was good because we could either use Thunder Focus Tea and then empower 2 Renewing Mist to give them a longer duration, which was excellent, or we could use them in our Yulon ramp to do 2 instant casts, Enveloping Mist to get a very quick, bursty, explosive, instant Yulon, nice juicy healing across the party or across the raid. However, both of those things are kind of less important now with this build. Because of how explosive your Yulon ramps are now, you don't necessarily need or gain as much value as you used to from having the 2 Renewing Mists be extended or having a longer duration, because we can spit out so many Renewing Mists, or a couple more than we used to, in an instant during our Yulon ramp. We just, like I said, we just lose value from what this talent was giving us before. It's not bad, it's not horrible by any means, but losing the value from the Renewing Mist, it's a slight reduction, but also the entire pizzazz behind the double Enveloping Mist Thunder Focus Tea is basically negated because of how Peer into Peace works. So at this point, Focus Thunder, I personally, that's the one that I chose to put into Peer into Peace. Now, also, there's still a debate of whether you should take Unison or you should take Legacy of Wisdom. Personally, because of the fight that I am currently progging, I have to get a quick Shayloon's gift off before I have to start moving at one point in the fight. So I take Legacy of Wisdom solely for that purpose. But I think, especially now that Soothing Mist has a longer duration, these talents are pretty competitive with each other, but I know a lot of people like Unison. It's just free passive healing. The entire playstyle still revolves around Invigorating Mist and the power of having Renewing Mist applied to the party. So you're still going to play very similarly to where you never want to sit on 2 stacks of your Renewing Mist. If you're sitting on 2 stacks of your Renewing Mist, you're really shorting yourself, because then every Vivify that you cast is hitting 1 less target or cleaving onto 1 less target, because Invigorating Mist works like that. All of your Vivifies will cleave onto an additional target if they have Renewing Mist on them. Chi Harmony is still a buff that comes with every Renewing Mist that you apply. And if you heal into it, not only will you be doing 50% more healing to people with this buff right here, which is applied by, once again, when I hit my Renewing Mist on them, you're doing more healing into that person, but when it ends, it's also going to pop and do a portion of its healing to everyone that has a Renewing Mist active on them. So already that is 2 reasons why you should always look to heal people with Chi Harmonies. It's not make or break, but it can push your numbers up substantially, because, once again, 50% bonus healing to that target is actually insane. And then also 20% of that healing is also getting redispersed. So it's just a lot of healing that you would be missing out on if you weren't choosing these Chi Harmonies as much as you can to heal into. But the whole play style revolves around Yulon. Once again, this is just, it's such a powerful raid cooldown, raid tool, especially because we can get it down to 1 minute. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. We don't need it to last 25 seconds. Lasting 12 seconds once every 1 minute is exactly perfect. It is perfect. How Yulon works is once every minute, we're going to summon Yulon to fight alongside us. Now, that bottom line of text, Enveloping Mist costs 50% less mana while Yulon is active, is really good, because it kind of makes those 12 seconds while she's out pretty mana efficient and do a big chunk of your healing. So you really want to get good at your Yulon little 12-second windows, which we call our ramps, because you ramp up to insane healing numbers. So how does she work? Well, on the baseline, Yu'lon just sits there and heals a couple of your allies while she's out for those 12 seconds. However, it's what you do that empower Yu'lon that makes her absolutely insane. I keep saying her. We're just calling her for this video. But how it works is every time that you cast an enveloping mist, while Yu'lon is fighting alongside you, she's going to spray enveloping breath on 5 allies, or she's going to splash an enveloping breath on your target, whoever you cast enveloping mist on, and it's going to hit up to 5 people in that area. And it does a massive chunk of healing, but more importantly, it increases the healing that they receive from you by 10%. So you're casting one enveloping mist, you're applying a hot to 5 people, and you're doing bonus healing to those 5 people. So already, how you play this is kind of in the spell itself. So you want to try and coat the entire raid with enveloping breath. So you really want to make sure that you're tracking enveloping breath. You're going to see it's a white border here. When I cast enveloping mist, I gain a white border, and you'll see in my raid videos that we're going to show you in a second, you're going to see that I blanket as many people in the raid as I can with that enveloping breath, so they're taking boosted healing from me, and it just leads to so much healing. Well, for starters, you want to have yourself buffed up as much as possible before you summon Yu'lon. So you want to use things like Sheilun's Gift, consume as many stacks as you can before your Yu'lon, but you at least want to consume 5 or 6 at the bare minimum, so you at least have Xiao's Lessons buff throughout that entire Yu'lon duration, because these buffs are very powerful regardless of whichever one you get. But there are some that are better than others. But for this video, just cast Sheilun's at 5+ stacks before your Yu'lon, and you will thank me for it later. You'll be buffed up, doing so much more healing during your Yu'lon ramp. It's so powerful. Next up, you actually want to utilize the Secret Infusion buff. So what you're going to do while Yu'lon is out is you're going to cast a bunch of enveloping mists, which are then going to spawn free renewing mists, and then you're going to pick a target, cast a couple of vivifies into them so that they cleave onto all those renewing mists. So I'll say that once again, just in case some of you guys are new to Mistweaver. You're going to summon Yu'lon, which I'm about to show you. You're going to summon Yu'lon, cast a couple of enveloping mists to spread all these hots around. Those enveloping mists are then gonna, it's like a BOGO. You're gonna buy an enveloping mist, cast an enveloping mist, you're gonna get a renewing mist free from rapid diffusion on any target, and then you're gonna capitalize on all these renewing mists that are being spit out by you in an instant by casting Vivify, 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 Vivify into one person. And what separates this Yu'lon build from our previous Yu'lon build is Peer into Peace. Because before, we would summon Yu'lon, and then we would have to hard cast enveloping mist on different people so that we can just, execute our ramp this way. However, what's really broken about Peer into Peace is now we get to channel a Soothing Mist. So we summon Yu'lon, channel Soothing Mist, and then enveloping mist, enveloping mist, enveloping mist, enveloping mist. So we aren't casting them. Notice, although my Soothing Mist is going to a new target every time I cast enveloping mist on them, we aren't fully casting it. It is making it instant cast. I think this will be a better way to show you is from a VOD from our Fyrakk prog from the other night. Don't mind this giant dispel button, just ignore it. But we're about to pull Fyrakk, and I always cast Yu'lon and do a full ramp right on pull. So let me show you just exactly how disgusting this ramp can be because of Peer into Peace. So it's in half speed so that you guys can see what's happening. But we're starting the pool chugging an entire Mana Tea, because when we pull the boss, we're going to have that full 20-second duration of that buff. If we let the boss pull, if we pull the boss while we're sitting at 20 stacks of Mana Tea, right once we pull the boss, those stacks are going to disappear. But if you're drinking them as the boss is pulled, you're good to go. Or if you already have the buff and not any of the stacks, while the boss is pulled, you're good to go. So let's get into it. So I drink my Mana Tea. I am then going to summon Yu'lon. I'm going to use my Thunder Focus Tea. You see on the cursor, I use 2 renewing mists. So I summon Yu'lon, Thunder Focus Tea as I'm summoning Yu'lon, do double renewing mist. That's going to spawn 2 renewing mists on people. but it's also going to give us a haste buff from Secret Infusion. And then I'm going to pick one of those 2 targets that I just put a Renewing Mist on to start my ramp, my Yulon ramp onto. The reason why we're picking these 2 people is once again because they have these Chi Harmony buffs. Since I applied a Renewing Mist to them, it comes with our tier set buff, Chi Harmony. So that is where we're going to actually start our Yulon ramp. Now, the difference from our old Yulon ramp to our new one is we now start our Yulon ramp with a Soothing Mist, which you can see all of my casts up here. So once again, we drink Mana Tea, we summon Yulon, Thunder Focus Tea immediately, like one button press for both of these spells. I double Renewing Mist, and then I'm starting my ramp now with a Soothing Mist. So let's see just how disgusting this is. And in fact, let's play it at full speed so you guys can see just how many Enveloping Mist and Renewing Mist we can spit out in an instant. Let's go. Yeah, you see here, I'm pointing and clicking, and you see just how many hots we have out. We have so many. We have 11 Renewing Mists in no time at all. We have so many Enveloping Mists active that are all ticking into each of these Renewing Mists from Tear of Mourning. We have so many Chi Harmonies that are storing up healing, and now I've started a new Soothing Mist into a new person. So I did all those Enveloping Mists with Yulon out. I pick another person, and ideally someone that has a Chi Harmony buff already on them, and I just blast Vivifies into them. So you see me cast Soothing Mist, I cast all those Enveloping Mists. After that Soothing Mist channel is over, I then pick a new target, Soothing Mist them, Enveloping Mist them, and then spam Vivifies into them. And that's going to blast healing onto this person because they have a Chi Harmony buff on them. They're face tanking all of our Vivifies, but more importantly, it's going to cleave all of these Renewing Mists with Invigorating Mist and do absolutely insane damage. So I'll play it. You see, I am just healing this person as much as I can. And then what's very important, since I've done about half of a Soothing Mist channel into this person, but they go up to full health, yes, we're punished less for still spamming into this person, but by now in my ramp, a lot of these hots have fallen off, so we're not getting as much AoE healing. We only have 4 active Renewing Mists. Once we fully heal this person, I swap to someone else that needs healing. And you see here, I do swap to this other shaman. They don't need healing anymore, but I swap to them. I start casting Vivifies all within the same Soothing Mist. So let's go back just 10 seconds. I'm in the middle of my Yulon ramp. I'm spamming around Enveloping Mists. And then you'll see me pick a target, spam Vivifies into, they are full health. I'm going to swap to a new target, spam Vivifies, and then start just playing like normal. So that is the Yulon ramp. You do all your buffs, you do your Secret Infusion, your Shao's Lesson buff, and then you summon Yulon, cast as many Enveloping Mists, like ideally 4 to 6 Enveloping Mists as you can before the damage comes out, and then you're going to start a new Soothing Mist channel onto someone so that you can be spamming Vivifies by the time the damage actually hits your party, and it does absolutely insane healing. It did insane healing before, but now just the amount of hots that you can spit out is absolutely disgusting. Now, we're actually going to do something completely new in my guide videos. I normally kind of stay in that training room, but we're going to stay on this VOD just for a little bit so I can kind of show you guys how I play it. So you see there, once I'm Soothing Misting one target, I heal them until they're full, and then I'll switch to a new target. The reason why I wanted to talk about that is because, like I said, this build does get very mana intensive. The reason being is we have always been playing around Clouded Focus. Almost all of Dragonflight, we're playing around this talent. Not only does this, as we channel into one person with a Soothing Mist, not only does it make our spells get stronger, but it also made them a lot more mana efficient. And yes, they have nerfed this talent a lot recently, but it's still very powerful and makes our spells, like I said, very mana efficient. The only issue is when we Soothing Mist channel into one person, you see up here on my buff bar, the Clouded Focus stacks are going up. I'm at 2 Clouded Focus stacks, so my spells are 30% cheaper, basically, while I'm in the Soothing Mist. So I'm at 2 stacks But what happens when I swap by casting a Vivify on one person? It resets. It takes us back down to 1, 2, and yeah. So you do lose efficiency on mana and also on power of your spell that you're casting into that person because your Cloud of Focus stacks reset whenever you swap targets. However, as long as you're okay on mana, then you can kind of be a little aggressive on this. But like I say, mana is so important with this build. You really have to be comfortable with your mana bar. But if you're someone who is not comfortable with your mana bar, try to limit how much you're swapping around in the same Soothing Mist. So I'm going to let this play out a bit, and you'll see I try to stay in one Soothing Mist as much as I can. But if you are someone who is struggling on mana, getting to the end of a fight, and you are just out of mana every time, like I said, just if I were to pick one target here and just spam into them, it would be fine healing. You're not missing out on much. But like if I'm spamming into Epochs and I get him to full, there's so much healing that needs to be done into these other health bars, myself included, which you guys can't see thankfully, that you would just be better off. You do a lot more healing swapping to that target in this case. So it is kind of like a situation by situation basis on what's the best thing to do. But this is a perfect scenario. If I am spamming Soothing Mist into Epochs or like anyone that's kind of close to full and I get them to full, then it is a lot of times better to swap to a new person. Yes, you'll reset your Cloud of Focus stacks, but you'll do solid healing, like a lot more healing. So let me just play it out, show you guys the game plan. Now we're coming up on my next Yulon ramp. I use this walk here because there's not much healing required here. Like everyone's kind of chilling while the boss does his thing, gets ready for this next little phase. I use it to chug a Mana Tea, which ideally you don't want to chug a ton of stacks at one time, because you want to have more control over it. You want to try to drink your Mana Tea stacks before you know you're about to spend a lot of mana. Now, here I'm about to go into a Yulon ramp, which is not the most ideal way to have a full coverage of Mana Tea, because like I said earlier in the video, Yulon, while she's out, is very mana efficient. However, casting Yulon itself costs a ton of mana, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Like I said, I just use this time because it is absolute downtime in a fight to drink my Mana Tea, but you always want to be gaming your Mana Tea. So we're getting into another Yulon ramp. I'm casting Sheilun's Gift. It was a 7 stack, so I have a long duration of this buff. I have 19 seconds, so I am just boosted in how much healing I can do. Then you're going to see me summon Yulon. We'll apply these Renewing Mist stacks, summon Yulon, and then we're just going. Now, obviously, I am moving. I don't have the Evoker buff that lets me cast while moving, so I did have to be very careful in how I casted my Enveloping Mist, or else I would have died. But you see there, I get as many Enveloping Mist out as I can, and then I'm going to plant and just Soothing Mist into whoever needs healing, basically. You see there, everyone gets to full, and I kind of just get back to my normal rotation. Now, what you do during the downtime is literally just heal people that need healing. Like right now, I am not in a Yulon window, but you see, I am just clicking on the health bar. You can barely see that I'm missing the most health. I am just healing the person that needs the most healing. And if no one really needs more healing than anyone else, I'm picking one of these Chi Harmony buffs to heal into, because it's just the most efficient. If everyone's at 80% health, you pick the person that has Chi Harmony because you'll do the most healing to them. But yeah, like I said, it's good to be swapping from a full health person you've just topped up to someone who now needs healing. It's just, it's less mana efficient. So like I said, this video is more for the people that are still raiding, which I believe a lot of people are still raiding on, like Tindral, Fyrakk, and some of the other later mythic bosses. So that's why I'm kind of swapping up how I do this guide video. I did not start from the ground up. I kind of am treating it as if you have an idea already of what our playstyle is. And honestly, guys, since this build is not too different from our old playstyle or our old Yulon ramp, I just wanted to make it for you because I wanted to show you guys just how powerful this is, but also warn you guys, if you're going to be playing this playstyle, I just did a VOD review of someone who is now playing this playstyle and was running out of mana left and right. And it's because they were just swapping between everyone, just casting enveloping mist all the time, and you just can't do that. You have to, in the moment, decide, is it more worth it for me to swap targets and cast around to people that need healing, or should I just stick on this one person and use that mana efficiency? And I think how I game it, or how I just make that decision in the moment, is I think like, is this life threatening? Will this person die if I don't swap to them? If yes, I'll swap to them. If no, I generally just stick on one person. That way my own mana is better for later moments in the fight, so it does not look like this. I should have more mana here at this point in time. But I'm just, at this point, I might as well just let the VOD play out, because a lot of you guys have been asking how I heal Fyrakk on Mythic. Here you go. We haven't killed it yet. We're still in P3 prog, but we're getting close. And I feel like my healing is just getting better and better every day. And it's thanks to this talent. This playstyle is really clicking for me. You see there, I'm just swapping my Soothing Mist target because I full heal people. And then I'm going to Shaylin's Gift and just blast this triad because that's my assignment. And I'm pumping into that triad, but I'm cleaving into all of these renewing mists here that are out on the party, and it's leading to so much healing. I mean, look at that, 414,000. I guess I can skip ahead a bit until we wipe and show you guys. Did we make it to P3? I guess we did not make it to P3 this pool. I literally just clicked a random pool, but I mean, look at that. It's disgusting. This build is absolutely disgusting. Now, I do want to show you guys Seedling, because I did kind of tell you guys to take Seedling, and I want to show you just how powerful it is. I've talked about this trinket in the past, but all you do is you put down this tree. Let's see, when do I press it? I'm going to put down this tree, and I'm going to heal into it. That's why my cursor is down here. I pick it as my target. I apply a renewing mist so that I am doing boosted healing into it because of the chi harmony buff. And then I'm literally just going to spam Soothing Mist, Enveloping Mist, and then spam Vivify. Soothing Mist, Enveloping Mist, Vivify, Vivify, Vivify into this guy. And now the reason why this trinket is so good with this build is because your Soothing Mist lasts longer, meaning that you don't have to do like 1.5 full Soothing Mist durations into the Seedling. You basically, your one Soothing Mist covers almost this entire duration of this buff, which I now see my mouse is covering. But you see it has 1.2 seconds left, and that's roughly how much my Soothing Mist has left. So yeah, you just spam an entire Soothing Mist in this guy, do so much healing to everyone, and it's absolutely insane. So guys, I know this was a lot rougher than my usual guides, but I just wanted to get something out to you guys before Season 4 drops and I forget to make a raid guide on this new build. Like I said, it's not much different to our old build, but it's different enough. And I know at least one of you guys out there is still raiding and has looked at logs and seen people taking this talent and probably didn't even know that you could stay in the same Soothing Mist and just get instant Enveloping Mists left and right. Or maybe you just didn't even know why your mana bar was getting dunked on now because of this talent. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you liked it, if you learned anything from it, or if you want me to explain anything else, leave a comment down below. Hit that like button if it helped you, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this or a more in-depth guide. You don't want to miss it in the future. But guys, my name is elvinninja7. I hope I down Fyrakk in quick enough time to be able to show you guys me getting cutting edge. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care.